President Trump continues to embarrass America while at the World Economic Forum in Davos. This time, going on a seemingly bizarre rant about protecting the geniuses in this country. Watch.
Tesla's now worth more than GM and Ford. Do you have comments on Elon Musk?
Well, you have to give him credit. I spoke to him very recently, and he's also doing the rockets. He likes rockets, and he does good at rockets, too, by the way. I never saw where the engines come down with no wings, no anything, and they're landing. I said, I've never seen that before. And I was worried about him because he's one of our great geniuses, and we have to protect our genius. You know, we have to protect Thomas Edison, and we have to protect all of these people that came up with originally the light bulb and the wheel and all of these things. And he's one of our very smart people, and we want to cherish those people. That's very important. But he's done a very good job. Shocking how well, you know, how it's come so fast. I mean, you go back a year, and they were talking about the end of the company, and now all of a sudden they're talking about these great things. He's going to be building a very big plant in the United States. He has to, because we help him.
Hey, man, he likes doing the rockets, guys. And that's why we have to protect him from something. We've got to protect our geniuses, especially the inventor of the wheel. We got to protect him. Very stable genius. Now, you guys, and you guys realize that the inventor of the wheel has been dead for about a few thousand years. So I don't necessarily think that he needs any sort of protection, right? In fact, look, if this is about intellectual property, well, I hate to break it to him, but the wheel is actually part of the public domain. You cannot copyright the wheel as a concept. As far as Thomas Edison is concerned, he doesn't need protecting either because he's also dead. I'm just saying. Elon Musk, however, Elon Musk is okay, but you notice how at the end he says, well, he's going to build a big plant here in America. You know why? Because we helped him. What are you talking about? No, I love this assumption, right? And this is an assumption a lot of corporate Democrats and Republicans hold. No, you don't understand. If you give tax cuts, gigantic tax cuts and incentives and deregulation for businesses, well, then they have to do something here, right? And unfortunately, this mindset is widespread among corporate Democrats as well. Like, no, you don't understand. We have to give them incentives. And then, you know, once we give them that, well, then they owe us and they're going to create jobs in this area. They're in a damn thing stopping Elon Musk from taking his gigafactory or whatever and saying, hey, you know what? Turns out, guys, I'm going to go to Mexico where the labor is a lot cheaper. So see you guys. Boy, do you feel stupid or what? We just took all the incentives and tax money that you sent us in tax breaks, and we just left anyway. And that's the problem. Look, we saw sort of the same thing with Carrier. Carrier got millions of dollars in tax cuts. I believe this was in Wisconsin. No, Indiana. Sorry. It was in Indiana. Mike Pence, right? He used to be the governor of Indiana before he was the vice president, right? And so Carrier gets this fantastic deal. We give them people in Indiana give them millions of dollars in tax breaks and incentives. What does Carrier do? They close down plants and move to another country anyway. So what are you talking about? Would they have to because he's got to build the factory because we helped him? No, that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. There's nothing stopping these companies from just taking all the money and running with it. Huge problem. Okay, so anyway, now, what's funny about this, going back to Trump, is he literally could not come up with any other famous inventors that are still alive. So he goes for the dead ones, right? And says, we've got to protect them. I mean, look, by the way, Edison, some interesting history on Edison, some interesting trivia. He did invent the light bulb and the phonograph. Yes, I know. But here's the thing. Nikola Tesla, who, you know, who the Elon Musk company has the namesake of, right? So this guy was a visionary. He's actually the godfather of modern television, which I think is something that would interest Donald Trump. Like, hey, do you know that this guy actually is the godfather of modern TV, right? Because his vision allows images and sound to go through the air. And he was actually trying to, in his later years, perfect a way for wireless energy transmission. That's really interesting stuff. His ideas were way ahead of the time. Edison, of course, famously hated him for it. And now Edison was not a visionary like Tesla. Edison was a tinkerer, right? And so he had a large crew, that would help him with that. He had a lot of patents. He filed over 1,000 patents in his lifetime. He'd even bought a few, and then would just tinker, right? Tesla, again, was more visionary. He worked on only a few things, and these things were really, really large. And so it is interesting. Now, what Tesla was trying to do was wirelessly transmit energy through the air, and not only that, but harness energy from the air, right? And so wireless air and free energy. The banks took a look at that, especially JP Morgan, which was originally funding him, and they're like, no, we better shut that down. Nope, can't do it. In the end, of course, he died penniless. So when you read up on Edison, he's actually kind of a bad guy, whereas Tesla was the real visionary. He was the genius that we needed to protect. Okay. So Elon Musk, I don't think he actually compares to the actual Tesla, but I do support the vision of creating and manufacturing electric cars and hiring American workers to do so at good wages, right? That's what I want. Now, what's funny about this is that Donald Trump can talk about protecting the geniuses all day long. However, the Trump administration, as well as Republican administrations all over the country, right? And I'm talking about state legislatures, which have banned the sale of Teslas. Like, seriously. And not only that, but the Trump administration rolls back fuel standards and does everything that they can to block things like solar energy, the construction of solar panels in the United States, as well as constructing wind farms, and he props up fossil fuels. Of course he did. They haven't attempted, the Trump administration, to prop up the coal industry unsuccessfully, instead of supporting coal miners' healthcare and retraining them and supporting them, of course, while they transition to a new, higher-paying industry. Donald Trump is literally against what Elon Musk is trying to do, and yet he says he's so good at rockets, and we need to protect our geniuses, and we need to support him because he supported us. He is right in one way, that we have to protect our geniuses, which is why Donald Trump, he's got to go. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a patreon.com/TYTNation set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.